gentlemen.
Unexpected success.
Who are those guys?
It's the comeback team. You already know. Ladies and gentlemen. Oh, man. Ladies and gentlemen. It's the comeback kid. Ladies and gentlemen. Well, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen.
Unexpected success.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of
Unexpected Success.
The Comeback
You are the Comeback
Kids.
Kids. I am with my partner in crime, Joy Pratcher.
Hey, and I'm with my partner, Dee Roberson.
That's right. And today's special guest, it is something for the ages. She is by far, hands down, best baker in the tri-state area. If you don't believe me, at me, I'm down to argue. She's an award-winning entrepreneur,
Always down to
a
argue.
contestant on the Food Network's Winner Cakes All, and a round-away filet, Miss Erika Oldham
Ooh, of
Thank
Chic
you.
Sugars.
of Chic
Thank
Sugars.
Yes.
That's right.
So I have to tell you, you had me looking so amazing and so sexy at the Girl Scout
Yes.
Christmas party last year. I mean, you made little Santas, and I mean, it just gorgeous desserts and delicious too. Like
Thank
so.
Oh, my God. So good.
Right?
So
They're
good.
useless if they don't taste good. So that is the most important.
No. I
part.
mean, obviously that's most important, right?
Exactly.
So let's run you back though, because really, you are like the pivot master. And so this show is all about people who pivot and who start over and not afraid to start over. And you've had how many start overs?
I don't know. We're still counting.
We still
I don't know.
going, right?
No. I think this is it. This is it.
This is
but
it.
I don't know. I've been everything from social worker, bartender, law student, hedge fund. I've done a little bit of everything. So
I
this has
love
been an
it.
interesting journey so far. So
Interesting journey indeed.
Yes.
So let's take a step back. Tell us where you're from.
okay, so I'm from Teaneck. Well, born in New York, but raised here in Jersey. So
Jersey girl.
grew
Where
yep.
in New York? Where in New York?
Upstate New York. My grandfather used to be a correction officer up in like Green Haven, like
Oh, right.
maximum
Oh,
security up
upstate,
there.
okay.
Okay.
Yes. So born up there, but then we moved to Jersey. So I've North Bergen, Teaneck, Weehawken a little bit, but mostly in Teaneck.
So you're home.
Yeah.
You're
That's
home.
why we decided to come back because I started the business in Queens, but
Queens.
yes, right. But this was home, so we came
All
here.
good.
Yeah.
Right. So you started a business called Chic Sugars. You're like the celebrity cake master. Some of your clients include Jay-Z, Missy, Elliott, Nikki, Minaj.
Yeah.
You've done things for the whole BET network.
Yeah.
But before this, right,
Mm-hmm.
you attended college up in Boston.
Yep.
Babson, huh?
Babson.
So what made you decide on Babson? Oh, wait, so wait.
I would say this.
It's a long give us a
Right.
story.
All right.
Oh, no, so you were only child? Like
No.
four
So I'm the
children?
eldest of
Okay.
three.
Okay.
So I'm the eldest of three. I have younger sister, younger brother. Yeah. So it's always been lead by example. Lead by
Right, of
example.
course, that pressure.
And coming up, like I was very type A. Like damn near perfect score on my SATs, 3.9. Did everything I was supposed to do.
Okay.
Got accepted to Babson. Babson is like one of the top schools in the country, maybe even the world, for entrepreneurship. That's what it's known for. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm go to this school.
that.
And it just felt like the logical step. I had taken some business courses in high school. I really loved it. I was like, okay, Babson it is. And they had very limited diversity. So they recruited me like, we only have, I think there was like maybe 20 black people on the whole campus out of like 2,500. And I'm like, okay.
Was that attractive to you? Were you?
No, it actually made me very nervous.
Right.
But I was like, okay, again, it's a very prestigious school. If business is where I want to be, then this is what I got to do. So, okay. But then when you get there and you're in it, and it's like, well, wait a minute. This is it?
Right.
And like we would have like Sunday dinner. That's what we would call it, Sunday dinner. And all the black students would get together. Somebody'd make mac and cheese, somebody'd make yams.
Oh, wow.
And that was,
That's
but
dope.
that was it. And it was very,
Any card playing?
it was a lot.
Any card playing?
Yeah, right?
You know he's playing
I know,
stage.
wait, wait,
Yeah,
wait.
come on, you know he's
But
playing
you
stage.
had Black movie night. We sit over here, watching at that point. Like I think it was like The Wood and stuff like that. Best
Right.
Man, but it was very intimidating. So it didn't really work out. Like I just couldn't get comfortable there. So for that, I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna start a business. I don't know what I'm thinking. And originally, I really wanted to do criminal justice. My grandfather, he was a warden up at a prison. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna, I gotta make change. This is how we make change. So I was like, you know what? The heck with Babson. I'm out. I came back home for a second, and my grandparents had been in a really bad car accident. Like, tractor trailer ran them off the road, turned over a bunch of times.
God.
My grandmother, she had to have skin grafted back on her arm. My grandfather still has glass in his head to this day. So I was like, all right, but I'm going to go down there. I'll help. You know, I can take them back and forth to physical therapy, and I'm going to go to school at the same time. So we're driving by this school one day, and I'm like, well, I'll go there. You know, it's close to the house. I had done no research on it at the time. Back then, it was like 20 years ago. You didn't really jump on Google and look stuff up. You just
What school
have
was
a
that?
pamphlet. Charleston Southern.
Charleston Southern.
So
okay.
it was, lo and behold, it was a Baptist university. I did not know that going in. So I'm like, oh my God. Like, the motto was something about learning in a Christian environment. And, you know, being from the North, it's different when you get down there. And I'm like, oh man, what I get into, right? Because like you couldn't have guys and girls dorm. Like it was different.
Right, no co-ed.
Yeah, no drinking. It was dry campus. It was intense. Yeah. So anyway, I ended up down there, and I lived with my grandparents for those 3 years. So whatever recipes I do have, that's when I picked them up. Me and Grandma, you know, peach cobbler.
kitchen.
Yes.
Okay.
So it ended up being kind of serendipitous. that
It
you
worked out. Exactly.
But so before that, though, you were homeless.
Yes. So during that time where I left Babson, and before that was part of what I was like, okay, I got to figure something out. And like I said, my grandparents were in need, so it was just weird the way it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like, again, I left Babson, and then me and my parents, obviously, they were pissed because I had gone from type A, you did everything you were supposed to.
You did everything right. You were the example.
When I was in
Erika,
Babson,
you were the example.
I went crazy.
Right.
I was like, I'm not going to do this. Whatever. I can do whatever I want.
Freedom got to you.
All in for the entire semester, I think I went to 4 classes.
Oh.
I went to 4, and I was like, wait, attendance mattered?
But you didn't miss Sunday dinner.
No, I sure didn't. I was there for that. So I screwed up Babson.
Right.
And they were like, well, yeah, you have to go get your GPA up, and then you can come back. And I was like, whatever. So
Wait, your parents put you out and said get your GPA up?
No, Babson put me out at first.
Oh,
so then I
okay.
come home, and I'm trying to work on things.
Okay.
But again, at that point, I'd never really been reckless. So
Right.
here I am, 19. I know everything. Reckless, out partying, taking my parents' car, not asking.
Finally
I just
enjoying your life.
Yes,
For
but
the
it had
first time.
consequences.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
time.
So I'll never forget, one day me and my sister had an argument over a sweater. She taking my sweater, we're yelling, screaming at each other. Here comes my dad, me and him get into it. And basically I was like, you know what? I'm out. I'm leaving. I don't need this shit. I'm gone. I went right back downstairs, started packing up my stuff. My dad was like, you can leave without your stuff. Go ahead. That's what you want to do? You want to be grown? I went around the corner. I had nowhere to go. Called my friend. I was like, come get me. And she was like, what? So we went and basically lived at her mom's house because her parents just divorced. So now we staying with her mom.
Oh my goodness.
And things got weird because then the mom's boyfriend, he's there.
Oh, my.
And he tried some funny stuff.
And you're cute.
Whoa.
You're young and cute.
Exactly.
Right.
So, but the crazy part is, instead of the mom kicking the boyfriend out, the mom kicked us out. So now we were living in her car.
That's her man.
It was crazy.
Right.
So we ended up living in her car just basically for the next 3 months, just kind of working whatever jobs we could, sleeping on friends' couches and stuff.
Couch surfing and all that.
Literally.
But you had a perfect SAT score. Like,
So, when you got the Babson and before the wheels came off, it's a college for entrepreneurship. What type of business did you have in mind of opening or starting?
No idea.
No idea at all.
All I knew is that in high school, I had taken 2 classes. Well, junior and senior year, I had this dope teacher, Miss O, who...
Shout out to Miss O.
Yes. Shout out to who I
out
think
to
is like a
Miss
realtor,
O.
but she's still in Jersey still, but either way. And Miss O just kind of let you run with it. Basically, you had a business class, and she kind of taught you like the fundamentals. And then she was like, everybody go, start your own little business, and whoever makes money, you get to head the school store next year. So I was like, oh, well, shoot, that means we got a whole free period.
Right.
Hold up. So I basically, right, I'm like, I'm going to win this. So I went over, I found this guy over in Bergenfield who used to airbrush T-shirts. And I was like, all right, cool. So, I figured out all my numbers. I was like, shirt cost me 50 cents. He's going to charge me $6. All right, everybody $15. So I started selling those things like crazy. Everybody was sitting over here buying them. End of the semester, I had made the most money, I had made the most profit, and everybody was talking about them. So she's like, cool, you run the school store next year. So now I'm boss of everybody in the class.
Oh, wow.
What was it? Like there was like 3 lunch periods. I didn't have to do anything. But, again, running the store, making sure we made a profit. We made enough money that year that it paid for everybody's prom ticket. So I was like, well, I can run this.
oh, everyone loved you then.
Oh,
you were
yeah.
super popular.
Oh, we
You
got
were-
this.
yeah.
So basically, I was like, all right, I can do a business. I got this. So then, again.
Which led to you knowing that
Yes.
you were good at business.
Exactly. And then my mother, she knew somebody who went to Babson. She was like, Babson. And then they started recruiting because, again, they needed
Diversity.
No diversity. Exactly. So that's how I ended up there. But when I got there, like I said, there wasn't a lot of diversity at all. And I think it's like 60% of the students were all foreign. So it wasn't even like it was American. Like you had everybody from Germany, from Japan, and you just like, I don't even know where I am. I don't know what this is.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
couldn't.
good.
You
Yeah.
couldn't.
Unless you up
yeah.
in Boston. So Boston's already
Boston's
a
already
little funny. Like,
No shade against Boston.
yeah.
no
but,
shade,
you know.
but
It's
you
not
just
as-
like,
it's not as
especially
diverse.
back in the 2000s. Now it may be different, but
Right.
back in 99, 2000, you were just like, all right.
Had a huge
Yeah,
representation,
like,
yeah.
here you go. Common came to town, and he did a show with some, that thing was empty. Like, it was only, a couple black
Just a
students.
few black students that were up
Yep,
there.
yep. But I had this
Wow.
girl who I just met who came from Chicago. She was like, we gotta go see Common. I'm like, cool. Say less. What are we doing?
Right.
What else you doing?
Exactly, but it was really nothing. It just wasn't moving like that. So
Yeah.
that coupled with my first dose of freedom, where I was like, I'm out.
Yeah.
I was like, class for what?
Yeah.
I just turned the assignments. They was like, no, you're supposed to be there. I was like, oh.
So you go
shit.
from being around 60%, foreign students to living in your girlfriend's car to then going to the Baptist College in the Carolinas, right?
Totally different.
To law school.
Yeah.
Now, within like what period of time?
This
This
was-
is crazy.
It was crazy. This was actually in 2 years. So when I got down there in 2002, I was supposed to have graduated because I graduated high school 2000. So, you're supposed to graduate college in 04. I'm like, there's no way I'm not graduating with everybody else. So I got there in 02. I took 18 credits every semester. I took
Wow.
15 over the summer. So I graduated 4-year degree in 2.5 years.
You're a
I was
beast.
like, we're
You
not
are
going
a
to...
You're a
beast.
beast, though.
You
You're
are
a
a
beast.
beast.
Thank
There's
you.
no laziness
That's
about
insane.
you at all.
Because I knew I screwed up. And I was like, I got to fix this.
Right.
So for that, I was like...
How were your grades?
My grades, I ended up like a 3.0, just under where I wanted to
With
be.
18? Wow.
Yeah.
I was taking
Yeah,
12.
and I worked
ended
at
up with a
Walmart.
2.0.
You walked at.
I worked at Walmart. That's actually how I met my husband. We worked at Walmart together.
Oh wow! I love
yeah.
it. I love
like,
it.
What was that, 18 years ago? We met at Walmart.
Wow.
Yeah, so we got a Walmart baby. That's what we call it. For real. Crazy part is her favorite store is Walmart. And I'm like, for real.
I can't escape this place.
Right?
How old is your daughter?
I have two. I have a 12-year-old and I have a 5-year-old. So
Oh,
our
God
daughter is
bless.
5. My daughter is 12. She's from a previous marriage.
Okay.
So, yeah, no. I'm
wow,
busy.
I love it.
Okay, so that was a perfect segue actually. So now you begin to bake cakes because I saw that your daughter
Yep.
you wanted to give her an elaborate cake for
Yep.
her birthday.
Exactly.
So now was it that you didn't have the finances to buy this elaborate cake, or were you like every other black mom in the world? Oh no, I could do that my damn self.
Exactly. Exactly. That's like, so I called and the lady was like, well, it's $300. I was like, ain't nobody paying $300 for that cake.
No cake.
No,
Right. I
do
no,
it my
I'll do it
damn self.
myself. Exactly. And I'm over here watching Cake Boss. I was like, man, he did that in 30 minutes. Watch, I'll do it. So $400 worth of supplies later, I was like, shit. My whole cake was leaning. It
Right.
didn't make it. I was like, okay, so we ended up with cupcakes for her first birthday. I was like, damn.
And this is the 12?
My eldest, yeah,
eldest
she's
girl, okay.
12. So I was like, well, you're getting cupcakes. But at the time, like I was kind of just in between stuff. Like it was weird. Like
Right, because
like I said, I had gone to law school. I hated law school.
Right.
I'm very much a to the point person. Law school was like, well, point A, point B, point C. He might be. Look, we know he did it. Let's get to it.
Well, don't talk too bad about lawyers because somebody is.
And my mother's a lawyer.
Yeah, I know. I saw that your mother was a lawyer.
Yeah, she went to
right?
Seton Hall, and that's why I was like, ooh, law school.
Yeah, yeah,
Didn't you
yeah.
go to St. No, St. John.
On St. John's.
Okay, but I was like, it's not for me. We have to get to the point.
No, I mean I practiced for like 5 years, and I was like, it's not for me.
And I was like, let me just cut my losses right now.
I might go back. So
Okay.
COVID made me be
Hey.
like, maybe do that law license. Come back,
Look,
kids.
but you always have the that works out perfect. See?
Yeah.
You always have something to fall
Right.
back on,
Exactly,
so it works.
exactly.
But for me, it wasn't it.
Yeah,
so
wasn't it? No, I get it.
when it came time like for her cake, I was between stuff. I don't know. I think she
Were you
was
doing social work at that time?
No. So after
Oh,
I
I'm sorry, I forgot about the social.
right, I'm
part.
telling you, it's been all
Always
over the place.
limits.
So there was Babson, there was the South. After the South, I graduated with a degree in criminal justice and sociology. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go into social work. So I moved back up here the day after I graduated. I graduated December 11th. I was back in Jersey by the 12th.
Tomorrow. Tomorrow.
Yes.
December
yes,
11th,
exactly.
right.
There we go. And I was back and I was like, okay, now what? And there's a clinic, Horizon Health Center, over in Jersey City. And I knew the like women's health director or whatever. She used to train with my dad. So I was like, okay, need a job, hey. And she goes, oh, well, we're looking for caseworkers. Cool. So I got like a crash course in casework.
Right.
Like 2 months, here you go. And my supervisor, she had left. And now here I am. They promoted me to supervisor. I'm like, oh, shoot.
Oh, wow.
It was heavy because you're dealing with teen pregnancy, drug addicted pregnancy, all kinds.
My gosh.
And I'm 20,
Yes.
I don't know, 23. And I'm just like, oh, wow.
This is deep. This
And
is
I mean, if
heavy.
I have to admit it, like I come from Teaneck, it's kind of privileged. Like I'm just like,
Right.
this
yeah.
is heavy.
And you know what? And that's heavy considering just 4 years prior, you were 19 in the car,
Exactly.
being grown, leaving the house.
Yep.
And now you're thrusted into this role as an adult,
Yes,
probably talking to kids who were 4 years ago you.
exactly.
Or could have been you.
Exactly.
Is
Or
that
you
what
going?
made you interested in it? Like just because you had been through?
Yeah,
things.
it felt like I wanted to, obviously that's why I majored in sociology because it felt like, well, how do I affect change?
Yeah.
Or how do we make a difference? So social work, and it just seemed like the obvious segue. So for that, because when I went to law school or when I was planning to go to law school, it was always going to be to like work for the DA. It was never going to be to go private. It was always going to be from the,
okay.
how do I help people side? So when you get into that, and like I never forget my first client, she was 11 years old and she was pregnant by her mother's boyfriend. And I'm just like, again, I
That
go
is
home and
terrible.
I'm
Oh my
comfortable
gosh.
now. And to see that, I was just like, this is a whole nother world. And here you are, you arguing with the courts or trying to basically, they would call us in to kind of like help, give your advice as to had they been going to all their prenatal appointments, what was going on in the house, what was our, assessment on drug abuse and this, that, and the
My God.
So it was just heavy.
Yeah.
So for that, it was my second year. The 11-year-old was now 13, pregnant again by the same guy. And I'm like, oh, I'm not doing anything here. I got to go to law school. I have to figure out how we do
That
more.
is insane.
So I got accepted to New York Law down in Tribeca. And I was
Yeah.
like, okay, cool. And I got in there.
It's
and I
not
was
bad.
like,
I mean, it's a great. The campus, the surroundings are perfect.
Right?
It's like, yeah,
Right down by the
I've
World Trade
arrived.
Center.
Right.
And I was like, again, semester in, this isn't it.
This isn't for you.
No. I mean, you know when something's going to
No,
click
you
and when
know.
it's not. And
But
I knew
think
it wasn't.
It's great that you actually allowed your intuition to control your decisions, right? Because most people know it doesn't quite feel right, but because they've invested the time
Yep.
and the money, they'll say, "I'm going to stick with it because I
stick
made
this
that
out."
decision."
Exactly.
Right? So
No.
you follow your gut.
I'm like, cut my losses. What am I trying to prove? If this doesn't work, it doesn't work. Time to go.
Right. Now, what's your family saying at this point? Because you're like,
Oh, they looking at me like, what?
What are you doing?
And at this point, so now I've left law school with my first husband. We're dating. He's a bouncer at a club.
Right.
Throughout law school, I'm bartending because when you're in law school full time, you can only work 15 hours a
right.
week.
You have to-
And they cap you as how much you can actually work because you're supposed to be dedicated, obviously, to law school. So I'm bartending Thursday, Friday, Saturday at the China Club
Right.
over in the city back in
Yeah,
like the early,
yeah.
yeah. And he was the head of security there. And my family's just looking at me like, wait,
what is going
What are you
on?
doing?
for real? And then here I go, so I'm pregnant. And my mother just
Oh.
like, what?
Yo, but you got a perfect score in SAT.
Yes, exactly.
You were the model.
Yes. LSATs, I scored in the top, like, I don't
Right.
know, 90% of the country.
Oh,
my
my
was looking at me
gosh.
like, what is happening? And I'll never forget, she called me and she was like, I just want better for you. I don't know where you're going with this. And I'm
I know.
like, Ma, I don't need the stress right now.
I know.
I'm like 6 months pregnant. Leave me alone.
Right.
So hung up the phone with her, obviously, and I'm working like some little dead-end job, just kind of, I don't know, something about cell phones. Who the heck knows? And I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I go on maternity leave, and I just start applying for jobs on Craigslist.
Right.
I land this job at like a hedge fund. It's like under $1 billion of family hedge fund. I'm like, how you hire
Erica,
on
who
Craigslist?
are you?
I'm telling you, it's been all over the place.
Right.
A
So,
hedge fund.
A
Now.
hedge fund. It was family owned. It was two brothers and their father, and they were just under $1 billion what they were
Wow.
managing.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay. So they like, come on in, yeah. Office manager, EA, PA. I'm controlling everything in this whole place, like their households, everything. I'm like, all right, cool. So at that point, that was kind of when the whole idea for Cakes was born. I had seen Cake Boss. Her cake had been a fail. I'm like, I read some article that goes, you'll never get rich from like cutting off your cable. Like you need a side hustle. And I was like, this is a side hustle.
Right.
Here we go. So fortunately, my husband at the time, he was very supportive. He was like, you figure this out. And, he would tell me like weird stuff. Like I'm trying to make a car cake. And he's like, well, you need an eye bar. And I'm like, what the hell is an eye bar? And he's like, I used to work construction. You need an eye bar to support the weight. And I'm like, all right. So he was very supportive.
Right.
So my parents basically would take my daughter at this point every weekend because they lived in the city. So every weekend I go from Queens to Manhattan, drop her off, go back to Queens, make cakes, throw them away, watching a YouTube video. Oh, wait, how does she keep it from falling down? Oh, okay.
Oh, you went to YouTube University.
Yep, YouTube
There
University.
you go.
YouTube.
Exactly.
So I
I've
just
never
want the
attended a
listeners
class.
to understand, like, this is Erika has a successful business right now, right? Where she's a
Super successful business.
super successful business, and she trial and error.
Self-taught.
Cake
Absolutely.
Boss
Yep.
was like kind of like was the
light
the
bulb
idea,
moment.
right? And then YouTube University.
YouTube University.
Yeah. No, I remember going, how do we make a flour from sugar? YouTube. Oh, all right, cool.
Wow.
And there we go.
That's amazing.
But that's literally how it happened. And then
Self-taught.
Self-taught. I've never been to anyone else's class. Whatever I
That
saw on
is
YouTube
just-
was
I
it.
love this.
Or like, again, my ex-husband would be like, well, you got to do it like that. That doesn't look right. And you don't realize how much of cake making is in construction.
Right.
Like when they talking about, so when we built my first shop and, you know, the contractor's in there and he's spackling. I'm like, yo, I can spackle up buttercream all day.
Right.
I got this. And sure enough, I was like, can we cut something off the budget if I come in here and I spackle with you?
Yeah.
Right.
And he was like, yeah. So here I am, spackling.
Spackling. I
Yep.
actually love spackling.
I'm like, I got
Random.
this.
I love spackling.
I spackled
It's
it.
soothing.
I spackled this weekend.
Something about it.
So I try to hide the television cables behind my wall in the house.
Yeah.
And there was a cross beam, so I had to spackle the hole that I put
That you
into
put.
the drywall. Because
Allegedly, some hole that no longer exists.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah, yeah,
I did a
yeah.
great
Yeah,
spackle
yeah,
job.
yeah, yeah.
Not there anymore. Exactly.
So then now you making cakes from YouTube University.
Yep.
When did you know that I got something here? Like this cake is no longer tasting like cardboard. It's no longer like it's not Duncan Hines
Right. It's
anymore.
not leaning to the
this
side.
is Erika Oldham's cake. right
Exactly.
here.
5 years.
It took you 5 years.
5 years for me to feel confident. Like, okay, we're solid. The cakes look good. You know, those first couple cakes, I probably, you know, if I made one of the first cakes, I feel like you should reach out to me. I owe you a cake because you were definitely my guinea pig type thing.
Right.
But by year 5, I kind of hit
Hit your stride.
Right.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, hold up. I know. I got this now. And I had figured out how to, like, you know, networking. I had brought in, actually, I met this guy on Instagram through a friend of a friend of a friend to do my website. And me and him are still, like, great friends to this day, like family type stuff. And he kind of helped me learn how to network. So I was very much in a shell, obviously, when I started. And, like, you know, he'd be like, well, you got to go to a networking event. And I'd stand in the corner. He'd be like, no, you got to sell yourself. So he would literally pull me out of my shell. And he'd be like, so this is Erika, this is Chic Sugars, da, da, da. And I was like, oh, okay.
This
okay.
works. Right.
And then the light bulb moment for that was I was at a networking event. He wasn't with me this time. And these girls were talking, and he was talking about their birthday party coming up. And she was like, well, I found this company, Chic Sugars. And they have no idea that I'm there.
Oh, my gosh.
And I'm like, oh, shoot. So I just woke up, I introduced myself, and I was like, and of course, they're like, oh, wait, you're her? I'm like, yeah. This is weird. So that
I
was kind
love
of when I was like,
that.
all right, you got to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
So
Because they already
you
talking
go.
about you anyway.
exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Which is the
in
crazy
5
part.
years. It was no get rich quick scheme. You worked
This is
hard
5 years
for 5
of hustle.
years of hustle.
Exactly. Doing stuff for
That's
free.
great.
And I mean, sometimes.
And you're sustaining yourself with. How are you sustaining yourself? How are you making
Oh, then?
money?
Oh, I was still working at the hedge fund.
Oh, you still
so
at the
I stayed at the hedge
hedge
fund for
fund.
5 years. So I would work 9 to 5, be home by 6, make cakes till 2 a.m., be back at work by 9. And I did that every week.
with a child.
Yeah, with a child. And by that point, I was in the middle of a divorce.
Woo!
Yeah. So,
Jeez.
got
No, but
interesting
this
at
is
that point.
great because, you know, so many times you hear people say, well, I can't start my new business. I can't do this because
It's not enough hours
I'm
in a day.
working. I have kids, you know, whatever. You're working. You have a
Full-time.
child.
Yep.
You're getting in the
full-time.
middle of a divorce.
Yeah. it
All
was
those
interesting.
things, and you figured out like
Exactly.
the hours in a day to perfect your
Make it
craft.
work.
And now you're making money and you're
Yes.
successful at the craft that you. This is the dream story. Are
There
you
we
guys
go.
listening to
Yeah,
the dream
yeah.
story?
Yeah.
This is it. This is it.
Right? Year
Right?
5, I was able to quit my job. I was like, well, you know, I did the math. At this point, I'm making more. If I'm making enough that if I walk away from, you know, my day job and I can invest 100% of my time into this, I'm good. Exactly. So, year 5, I was like, well, here's my resignation. Thank you very much. It's been nice. I'm out. And
I love it.
the little bit I had in my 401k, I used that to kind of just put some more dollars behind advertising, some additional supplies. I started renting kitchen space at another like little bakery. That didn't really work out, but I found another one. Either way, so I started renting space. I landed a contract with this country club. So things start picking up. The guy I told you about who did my web design, his girlfriend worked at Hot 97. So she was like, we'll do the Christmas party.
Excellent.
And I'm like, Christmas party, yes.
Oh, yeah.
So then I landed a contract with Hot 97. So then I would give them X amount of cupcakes for whatever events they had going on. So like Wiz Khalifa's album release party, whatever.
Right.
I would do the cupcakes. And in exchange for that, I would get a certain amount of airtime for advertising. I would get a certain amount of Twitter posts, Facebook posts, whatever. But
And it all started just kind of coming together.
or snowballing.
And how did you know this was it? Like you were done?
I still don't. No.
Oh, no.
No, I'm serious. In March,
Really?
pre-COVID, I was done. I was like, I'm over this. Close up the shop.
Why?
Again, the same friend,
Yeah.
he had got me a job at Transit. I was like, I'm out. I'm done. Because you burn out. And that's what I always
Get
tell people.
tired, yeah.
Like, I spent so many years burning both ends of the candle. And then for, 12 years? I just hired employees in August. So for the last 12 years, it has been me baking, decorating, delivering, cleaning, books, advertising. You name it, it was always me. And for that, I was just exhausted.
Yeah.
12 years, a one-woman show.
Yes. And in that, again, we had divorce. I've had 2 kids. I had a back injury. So when my youngest was born, Marley, she's 5, she was born. So I delivered 3 or 4 cakes on Sunday. Sunday night, I went into labor.
Oh, my God.
Monday, I delivered. Thursday, I was back in the kitchen because I had cakes due
No,
that
Erika,
Saturday.
no.
I was booked before I even knew I was pregnant. And I was like, I'm not turning them down. I will never, no. So I literally, Thursday, I had her newborn in a papoose, in the kitchen, making cakes.
Oh,
Yes.
my goodness.
Oh my God.
So I slipped a disc. And I mean, I still deal with this disc pain, like to this day. I slipped a disc, which aggravated it and whatever. I ended up having to have surgery in 2018 to correct the disc.
Oh my
but
gosh.
you just get burned out. So I was
burned out.
like,
No,
I'm
right.
done.
Well, I'm glad you hired some people to help you out because we cannot have Chic
No,
Sugars
we're not gonna
closed
have.
down. Hasn't been very favorable to my waistline. However, I will sacrifice that
No,
for those
no.
delicious
I
baked
appreciate
goods
that.
that you make.
And
They
so
are fabulous.
Food Network also. So
Oh,
how
let's
did
talk
Food
about the
Network
Food
happen?
Network.
Yeah, because I mean, I have all my notes right here.
Yeah.
I forget half this
I
stuff.
know,
The
I
food-
know.
The Food Network. You were on a show called Winter Cakes All.
Yes.
And you was a runner up.
We got robbed.
You got
Just call it what it
robbed.
was.
You
I got
definitely
robbed.
was
Right.
the Floyd Mayweather in the
Yes.
Olympics. You got robbed.
I was saying, if you saw it, I got robbed.
Yeah,
Right.
tell us about
Like,
that.
to the
And tell us
point
about that
where-
experience.
Well, first of all, crazy part is I turned down the Food Network like 4 times because I didn't feel like I deserved it. I always have I've called it imposter syndrome. Like I almost feel like I don't belong
Oh,
here.
yeah, no.
And I'm
Yeah,
working
that's-
on
yeah.
trying to be like, you know what, this is you
Where I
earned it
belong.
kind of thing.
To all the listeners, you belong.
Exactly.
Wherever you at, you
Right.
belong
Exactly.
where you are.
That's
exactly.
the key. Don't wait for anybody to tell you that
That's
you
right. No,
belong.
you
Like
belong.
you'll know it. Like, okay, I've earned my place. Like my cakes are solid. You know, I've got a following. I belong here is what I keep trying to teach myself and tell
So-
myself.
And you have a great gut.
Yes,
You have a great
obviously.
gut.
Think.
Like
She-
your gut reaction.
Yeah.
Like you have to trust your gut.
True.
Somebody who can step into law school and say, you know what, this ain't
Yeah,
it.
it's not-
I gotta
I'm
go.
in Babson. I'm enjoying Sunday dinner, but I
This
ain't
ain't
really
it.
with all this 60% folks.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Not for me.
yeah,
But-
so you have a great gut.
But then there are times when I haven't, where it just, you know,
Right.
again, it like, I don't know, I always go back to like my ex-husband. I'm like, well, that was like 7 years. And I probably
No, but
should-
he gave you great advice.
He did. And I got my daughter, so.
Got your daughter.
Yes.
Great advice. He
Yes.
told you how to build the cakes,
True.
how to sustain the cakes.
True. No, he
He said-
definitely, and rest in peace, because he passed away
Oh, God
3
bless.
years ago.
Oh, wow.
The week before I was supposed to open the shop, he passed. He
Oh, my
had kidney
gosh.
failure, and I'll never forget that phone call because my daughter was in Arizona with my parents because they were living in Arizona at the time. And I got the call. And again, we knew he was dealing with kidney failure, but that was just like, you know, literally a week before we're supposed to open. And I'm just like, now I have to explain to a 9-year-old what's happened.
Right. How
It was
long were you
crazy.
guys divorced at the time?
We had been divorced for passed in 2017. We divorced so 6 years. But by that point, we were good friends. We were
Yeah,
co-parenting.
co-parenting well.
Right.
Exactly. We were good. And the crazy part is, right before he passed, he wanted to give me money. Like he goes, Erika, I need you. You know, I don't have life insurance because at that point he was considered high risk. I want you to have, you know, whatever I have because this way I know that Whitney's good. But at the end of the day, we had a really good relationship. But there was just a lot happening
Right. I'm sure.
at one time.
But you know,
yes.
I don't really believe in coincidences.
No.
But I think that like everybody serves a purpose, and
Right, right.
whatever he was there for you when you were
Yep.
at your craziest points, right?
Right.
So
Yep. No, he definitely
He
was
held
like,
you down.
got this. And I always, so in March when I was ready to step away, the one thing he'd always tell me is, you didn't come this far to fail. And I'd be like, so whatever, I'm like, I'm over it.
What would he say? Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. You didn't come this far to fail. So
Right.
for
That's
that,
awesome. Yeah.
it's-
So
it
good
works.
gut. Good gut.
So let's
Yes.
touch back on the Food Network.
Yes.
So they found you because you were getting popular? Was it through
Yep.
the ads? Or
No, they found me through
So
like
now-
Instagram.
so now Chic Sugars is blowing up
Yeah.
to the point where the Food Network is coming to say, "Hey, we want you to be on our show." When
Yes.
it cakes on, you get on the show. You get to this is a sore
It really is.
But come on, you
I need
got
my
it.
retribution. That's all I keep telling them.
You have your retribution. You have an amazing shot.
No, I want back on. So I've just turned down a Food Network show because I'm in the middle of opening a new location. I can't commit to the timeline for the next show. But either way, yeah. So they say, hey,
season 1, episode 10.
yep.
When it cakes on, runner up. Go ahead.
Like
take
I
a deep
said,
breath.
so we're on this set. First of all, it was weird because it was season 1 for this show, so we didn't really know what the format looked like. You know, Cake Wars, you know what that looks like.
Right.
Winter Cake All, we're in a tent in California in, I think it was October. It's 89 degrees inside this tent because you got 6
my
convection
gosh.
ovens running. Exactly. Anybody knows anything about cakes, I keep the shop at 70 degrees at all times. So here we are melting, and they're like, make the cake. So the cake, all in all, was over 3 feet tall. A cake that would normally take 24 hours. And not a day, I mean 3 8-hour days.
Oh my god.
At least. And we do it in 5 hours. So our cake, like I said, I carved 5 cakes in like an hour. That's crazy. We went with a very overzealous
Right.
idea. We were like, we could do this. Either way, we go through all this and they choose the other guy. And I'm like, are y'all joking?
This is some bush.
Exactly. 'Cause but the crazy part is we knew going in, as soon as we got there, the politics said it was going to be him. So me and my partner, as soon as we realized that he had already been on Cake Wars and he had lost, I was like, he's here for retribution.
Oh, okay.
Watch. But I'm like, but maybe if our cake is awesome, they're going to... No.
So it's scripted, kind of.
It's kind of so scripted to the point where cameras go off. 2 of the 3 judges come over and go, it should have been you. We wanted to pick you. I'm like, wait a minute. Oh, wait, I could have taken the L. But now I find out I got robbed.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
all the producers are like, yeah, no, it should have been you. I was like, you got to
Oh,
be kidding
that's
me.
some bush.
Exactly. That's the part
you
where I
can
was
take
like-
an L, but knowing you got robbed is something different.
I'm like, wait, so how did we not get
now I
picked?
see why you salty. I'll be
Yes.
salty too.
So I'm like, so when are we coming back?
When
'Cause
we,
y'all
yeah,
always
so
10
when I
grand.
get my prize, when I get my
Like, wait.
acknowledgement.
They were like, yeah, no, we want to choose you. Well, why didn't we?
What-
Oh my
what-
God.
what-
Somebody
why did
want to
you?
enlighten me? What happened?
What's beef?
They were like, just make sure you should do this again because you'll definitely win. What?
Nah.
Yeah. I'm like, all right.
Not no 8-9 degrees in the middle of
Exactly.
in the tent. In
So the next
convection
show,
oven.
they just came to us for like the Big Bake. But the Big Bake, A, was being filmed in Canada. B, they're filming January, February. The new shop should be open in February. So I'm like, I can't leave the team in the middle of all
So
this.
you're leaving this shop that you're currently at?
Yes.
You are leaving that
We are
shop.
upgrading.
Well,
I'm
yeah.
very
Let's talk
excited.
about that. Let's talk about this nice upgrade. Your your current shop is in Fort Lee.
Yep.
It's Chic Sugars.
And it's been good to you.
It has. It's
It's
my
been
starter
great.
home. It worked.
Right.
It's 1,100 square feet. Our landlords aren't the greatest. No, they're not the greatest. It's just the building is not maintained as well as it should. So we have a
Right.
leak over here, HVAC issues, whatever it is. It
Right.
doesn't work for us anymore.
Okay.
So
So where you heading to now?
Englewood.
Englewood up to no good.
Yes. So Englewood is more diverse. I feel like Fort Lee is an awesome town. It's been good to us.
Uh-huh.
But I feel like we need more diversity. Our clientele, I want the town that we're in to reflect the clientele that we have.
Right.
So for that, Englewood feels like the logical move.
Right.
And there are a lot larger spaces in Inglewood.
Exactly. So now I'm adding in 2 mezzanines, but by the time we're done, we have a little over 3,000 square feet.
Whew.
So,
Well, I'm moving on up.
yes,
Is it?
literally.
Yeah.
Literally.
I
So
can't
we'll be
wait.
on Dean Street.
Oh, I love
Oh, right there.
Yeah, we're right off the corner from Starbucks.
Woo!
Competition.
That's a
Yes.
good
Oh, yeah, because we'll be
location.
selling coffee.
Oh, there you
So
go.
we're pulling in Joe's Coffee, who's over in the city. They
love
have
Joe's.
exactly. They got like
Oh, I
13
love
locations.
Joe's. So that's amazing.
Wow.
So part of my
Joe's
strategy-
Coffee with your
Exactly.
baked goods.
So I
I might sit in
figured-
there all day.
There we
Oh,
go.
man,
Well,
I
that's the
don't
thing,
know
though. We're
how
not zoned for
to-
seating.
What? What the hell?
But it's okay. So we're gonna do a takeout window because obviously we want to remain COVID friendly.
Right.
But in the summertime, we can have outdoor seating. Exactly. But it's more grab and go. So, but it works. It works. So the thought is that with the mass exodus from New York, you got always people who are used to Joe's Coffee, and we got Joe's Coffee now,
Right.
coupled with everything
That's
else we're
the hook.
selling. So
It's gonna be
It's gonna be
good. Oh
Yes.
my god!
when I tell you,
Yes.
I
I
love
my
these.
trainer for more sessions
Yeah.
because it's about to be a
I
problem.
mean, my sweet.
there's a New York Sports Club right above us, which I was like,
I mean,
oh, this is perfect.
It's perfect.
Exactly.
My sweet tooth is undeniable, and I'm gonna.
I'm
Just,
telling you. The other day I had so much apple pie I made myself sick. Because we were all taste testing this apple pie. We're going cooked or uncooked apples. Because that was like the argument in the shop was, do we cook the apples and then put them in the apple pie? Or do we just put them in raw? So I had to have eaten like, I don't know, like 5 or 6
I
apple
can help
pies.
out if you need a taster. I can definitely help out.
And I'm like, I can't do anymore, guys. I need a break. But yeah, that's pretty much our days. We're sitting
Let
over
me know.
here.
I'm ready.
That's awesome. Yeah, I have so many questions. So I guess, in hindsight, now that you have 2 daughters, I have 2 daughters too. But like, would you?
Daughters are better.
Oh, they are good.
They are.
I
They're
know.
so
Jonathan's
calm
dope
and
too,
chill.
though. He
I
has
don't,
Jonathan.
I don't have a daughter.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Not yet.
He has
Okay,
a
there we
I
go.
know, right? But I would you, I guess, encourage your daughters to do super well in school and like keep them super disciplined? And what would you do? What would you change?
That is obviously, especially with a 12-year-old who's supposed to be going to high school soon, that is
Right.
the constant fight in my house.
Right.
Because I'm like, she started slipping on her grades, but she's a straight A student. And I'm like, nah. And
Right.
she's like, but what if I don't even want to do this? I'm like, I don't care.
Right.
As long as you live under my roof, you
Right.
will. But my point to her was, I know she's capable. And not everybody, like, school isn't for everybody. Not everybody's like, I used to be like, I got an essay to write. And I was excited. Don't ask me why. But I was.
Right.
But my eldest, like, she's brilliant. And for that, I'm like, you're not just going to just let it fall by the wayside.
Right.
You always need the fallback plan. So even if it's just to go to college so you have the fallback, but she's also an amazing artist. Like, when her father passed, that's what she dug into. And she does, like, awesome anime drawings and stuff.
Oh,
It
wow.
looks really, really good. So part of me is like, go to college, have the fallback. But go ahead and focus on art. Like, pick a school that has a great art program. So this way you can explore it all. So, but it's hard, because again,
I know.
Because
I
you
got a
don't do
criminal
the
justice
traditional-
degree I don't
yeah.
even use. And
I
I'm
know,
like,
I
can I get a
know.
refund, Sally? Mae? Like, I'll give y'all back this piece of paper if I can get my money
real.
back.
That's how I
Right.
feel.
So
Take it back.
it's always that balance of you have to do well in school because you need the fallback. But I understand if this is not where you land. If you decide, art is for you, then so be
Yeah,
it.
no, I mean, I think it's tough. You see a reflection in your kids, and it is like, whew, it blows your mind.
You turn to your parents.
You turn into your parents,
Exactly.
and then you say to yourself,
You always say, "I'm not
"Man,
gonna be my parents."
I really wish my parents would have said this." So I say things a little differently,
Right.
based on life experiences, and I'm like, well, I guess it doesn't matter. Just don't tell your daddy. You know what I mean?
That's what I say all the time. Right? Don't tell your mother.
Say that. So we're all about, really trying to encourage folks to, follow their dreams,
Yep.
to go for it, stop making excuses.
Exactly.
I guess what advice would you give to someone who's right now at a 9 to 5 saying they don't have time to start their dream or to start their business?
Right.
Not to put you on the spot,
Right.
right? You on the spot.
No,
I mean, just knowing that you've done all this,
You've done it.
working a full-time job, taking care of a baby full-time, going to bed at 2 a.m.,
Yep.
baking cakes. What can you tell the person who is out there who just can't get started?
I mean, I tell everybody this. We all got the same 24.
Right.
So for that, you make time for the things you want to make time for. So the question is, how hungry are you really? Because if you're not making time for it, then maybe that's not really what you want to do. Like when I found something that I wanted to do, I made time for it. I didn't see my friends. I didn't go hang out with people, go on family vacations. I missed all of that.
Right.
And I still catch flack for it. Like, remember
Yeah.
that vacation you missed? Yeah. But I was building something.
You're passionate.
Exactly. So I feel like when the passion, like when it hits you, it'll hit. So I almost say don't force it. Like I'm big on don't try to force a round peg into a square hole. If if it's not happening for you right now, then I would almost say, like, is that truly what you want to do? Because when you truly want something and you're hungry for it, there's nothing that's going to stop you.
Right.
The 9 to 5, the kids, the this, the that, your husband, he thinking you crazy, spend that kind of money on whatever equipment it is you need for your business. Like, I maxed out my Bloomingdale's credit card going and buying KitchenAid mixers because I was like, how else are we going to mix these cakes?
I know.
And the time he's looking at me like, wait,
doing?
what?
Right.
Exactly. But you do, again, you make time for the things you want to make time for. So when the passion hits, you will move mountains to make it happen.
Right.
If it's not hitting you right now, then maybe that's, because at one point I was like, well, I'm going to make candles.
Yeah.
I did it for like a week and I was like, that's not it.
Well, don't let
So-
imposter syndrome also stop you, because you can
True.
go halfway and have the passion, but then there's that voice, that chick or that dude in your head that's like, what you doing, yo?
It'll talk-
Like,
Exactly.
sit down.
It'll talk you out of your dream every time.
Every single time.
For me, it hits a little different because that voice is here to this day.
Right.
Where I'm like, you really deserve this. But it's me, I'm always trying to prove that voice wrong. Like, oh, okay, maybe I don't, but hold on. I'm going to do the Food Network and I'm going to win.
Right.
And there you go. See?
Right.
So it's got
you against you.
Yes. But I'll be 1,000% honest. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this on the show.
Go ahead.
But I fear that people fall in love with the idea of entrepreneurship more than they do.
The work.
Yes,
It's not
because this
glamorous.
is
It's not
not
glamorous at all.
glamorous.
No, it's not glamorous.
And it requires like dedication. It requires I am Chic Sugars and Chic Sugars is me. Like the two don't separate. So you have to be prepared to invest everything you have into that business. So a lot of people come to me all the time even for consulting. Erika, how do I get a bakery? It's not overnight. What are your numbers? What's your profit margin? What are your cogs? Oh, what is that? If you don't take the time to learn your passion, to understand it and the business side, it makes it really difficult to then make this a living. Like how do you eat on hopes and dreams? It has to actually turn into a tangible business, and you have to have the know-how to do it.
Well, that's the piece that you have the advantage of having the creativity, and you know how to cook, you know how to bake,
Yeah.
right? So you know how to bake,
I
but you
actually
also
hate
have
baking. Side note. That's a little known fact. I hate baking.
which like the business side of it.
I like the decorating side of it.
That's
Yes. Yes.
hard to tell
That's
because
No, I
fascinating.
hate baking. It makes me hot, and I'm just like, oh my god, it's kitchen.
Oh,
But
that's
nonetheless,
But I think that because you had the business acumen, I think that that's a key piece. A lot of times you meet people that are great at have a certain skill set, right? But that have no idea how to do the business side,
Exactly.
right? And so I think it's just being honest too, like saying, I'm really good at this, but I'm not really great at this, and so I need a team to help
Exactly.
me complement the things that I can do, right?
Yep.
And that's difficult.
It's
Not for
difficult.
you, but it's possible.
it's very difficult.
but a lot of people don't want to ask for help. Ask
Right.
for the help.
Ask for the help.
Exactly.
And pay the money. If you need the help, pay the person. Like,
Yes.
can you stop trying to save a penny?
Yes.
Right.
Invest in yourself.
Right.
That's the key. So I have lots of people. So I actually have classes, or at least pre-COVID, we did classes on how to grow your cake business, where you got to meet with my lawyer. You ask all these questions
I
about
love
how
it.
we do this.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So because I feel like the cake industry is one with a lot of people who don't necessarily know how to run a business, unfortunately. So for that, I feel like it brings down the whole industry, because if Susie doesn't know how to make a cake or doesn't know how to run a business, and she's over here only charging $20 for a cake that at the end of the day actually costs her $40 to make, she's losing money.
And it affects the
It
whole
makes it
business.
hard for me to then go, it's actually $40. Well, actually, it should be more like $60 because you need to pay yourself and you need your profit, whatever. But people aren't thinking about that. So I feel like if I can educate the community, then we bring everybody
So
up.
that's what's next. Chic Sugar University.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah, Chic
exactly.
Sugar University, baby. I love it. I love
Exactly.
it.
So you said something about stopping. Speaking of stopping, we all got stopped this year with COVID. How were you able to pivot, and how did your business have to kind of reposition itself to stay sustainable?
It's definitely a pivot. So, because obviously pre-COVID, we're known for our big cakes. Everything is 3 feet and bigger. You know, I've had to go out and rent U-Hauls because it doesn't fit in our van type thing.
Wow.
Yes. So, obviously, you come March 13th and it's
I
full
know.
stop. And we're just like, wait, what? So, those first 2 weeks actually were my regroup moment. Because, like I said, prior to that, I was done. Like, I was literally talking about how do I exit my lease? I'm over this.
Wow.
I can't do it anymore. I'm exhausted.
So glad that
And yeah, no, it crazy. So I go home like, okay, I got 2 weeks. Oh, no, well, at the time I didn't know it was 2 weeks, but I'm like, okay, sit back, I put my feet up, I spend some time with my kids. I'm like, now what? And then people start calling. They're like, well, you still making cakes? I was like, I don't have COVID, so yeah.
Yeah.
What are you looking for? And she's like, well, obviously it's small. And she goes, with the quarantine and all. I was like, a quarantine cake, literally on the spot with the client on the phone. And I was like, quarantine. Okay. So we'll adapt it to 1 tier, 10 people. And that became my thing. So every cake that people had booked, because in March, we were already booked through August. So now I'm like, well, shit, there goes my whole summer. What do we do? So I reached out to every client and I was like, look, you can either, because we don't give refunds for the retainer. So that always got a little sticky because here come the contracts. And the contracts say, so we would either offer them a credit, good for 18 months. I'm like, look, we're out of this in 18 months.
That's an amazing credit.
Yes.
Right.
So, I mean, we're going to have another celebration in the next 18 months. We'll use it for that. And if we need to extend it beyond that, given whatever circumstances are going on, we will. I said, or we'll adapt it down to a quarantine-sized cake. You can only have 10 people at an event. We're going to make it a 10-serving cake. So I took everything from, like, what used to be, like, our Toy Story, which is, like, a 2 or 3 tier cake, put in a little compact cake. I got Buzz Lightyear on one half, Woody on the other half, Forky on top. So every design just got adapted to a smaller version, and we were able to price that at something that, most people, whatever their deposit or retainer that they had paid, it met that. So this way they were able to basically use whatever they had paid, which is what I was trying to solve.
Which is huge.
Exactly, because I don't want you to feel like you wasted your money. But the other side of it is that we do a lot of kids' cakes. The kids don't get it.
Right.
They don't understand. Why can't... So you could still have a small party at home, partnered up with a couple balloon vendors and a couple other people to still offer a small party. So you got your little backdrop, and we kind of called it like a Zardy. So my mother, she's actually the head HR for Zoom. She runs all of Zoom's HR.
Oh,
so,
wow.
Look at that.
Yeah, so I was like, wait a second. So I made a point to get it on Zoom stock before all this happened.
Right.
I'm like, okay.
Right.
But anyway, so she owns or she's HR for Zoom. So she had said it one time. She was like, something Zardy. I was like, what the hell's a Zardy? She was like, it's a Zoom party. I was like,
I love it.
oh shit. So
Right.
at that point, I'm like, light bulb moment, because we were doing cake and sips too. So people would come in, everybody get a cake, everybody would get edible watercolor, and I would teach people how to paint on cakes. So instead of paint and sip, it was a cake and sip, BYOB.
This is so cool.
So I'm like, well, what do we do with this now? So we were able to spin that where people would come and either have their cake dropped off or have it delivered to their friends' houses, and they would all jump on Zoom for a Zardy, and everybody would do a cake and sip. And I would jump on real quick, show them how to do it, and then log off, and everybody would now,
that's so cool.
So it just became, how do
that's
we
dope.
adapt to what's going on? So
So you got
quarantine
more.
cakes.
You got more creative.
Oh,
You got
yeah.
more creative in COVID.
How do we answer the problem? And the problem is people still want to see their friends. They still want to have cake. And how can we do that? So we adapted like that. So between that, and then we started shipping nationwide. Because I was like, so for the money that we're going to, lose, because we are going to lose some money, we cover that by shipping. So we always had a cake jar, which at the time was nothing special. It was just like, we have some cake here and we mix it up with some buttercream and we put it in a jar. Here you go. Because I hate doing cake pops, so that was our answer to leftover cake.
Right.
But we've actually now adapted to a more gourmet thing where we have every flavor from turtle to, I don't know, German chocolate, carrot cake. So now they're more decadent, they're more personalized, and we ship those nationwide because they're in a cute little COVID-safe jar. So if you want to have like a party or you're doing a drive-through or whatever, everybody can grab their cake jar. So just became, how do you become COVID-friendly?
You are like goals.
I was...
Do you feel it now?
No.
Oh.
No. You know
So
what?
humble.
Maybe when I get to the new shop. But right now,
Right.
I still feel like, even that, like I have 7 employees. And I literally just said to myself the other day, I was like, how the hell was I doing everything that I now have 7 people doing?
And they're busy.
Oh, yeah.
They're not like,
Yeah.
it's not 7.
Yeah.
So one of them's playing, watching
No.
videos.
What's so funny is when I went to the shop to ask her to be on the show, she's like, yeah. Matter of fact, I have a PR person now. Come talk to my PR. Like,
Oh, wow.
because I guess
Yes.
you were just doing all the
I was doing all that
all the
myself.
press yourself. She's like, matter of fact, I'm a PR
Yes.
person.
Gianni's here.
Come
Hold on.
talk to him.
Wow.
Yes. So
Wow.
Gianni comes through like every 2 weeks or so, and she comes, and again, part of the marketing piece is that she has to get my voice because, like I said before, Chic Sugars is me and I am Chic Sugars. So it's really important that, on all my social media, even though I don't do it anymore, which feels really weird because I see posts and I'm like, would I say that?
Right.
So it's weird,
No, but you need that help because
Yeah.
social media is a beast.
Yeah, it is. It's
And you have to
especially
be
keep
active.
changing
Very
these damn
time-consuming.
algorithms and shit. And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, I have to do a reel now. What the hell is a reel?
I
And how
know.
the fuck is that different from a
I know.
story? I don't know the difference, and why do I have to do it?
Right. No.
So, but
That's
no,
excellent.
it works. It
Well, I
works.
mean, no, listen, you're an inspiration. I hope
Thank
that
you.
you guys
Yes.
got some jewels because, man,
Yes. And please don't
been-
ever think about stepping away from the business.
Right?
Please,
No, I think I'm here to
please.
stay now.
Thank
no,
you so
yeah,
much.
I mean,
we
and
need
even
you.
The next thing
Yes.
is, the university and teaching other people behind you
Yep.
kind of takes you. It kind of comes full circle, right? Because then you go back into like helping other people, which is what your passion was
Exactly.
anyway.
Yeah.
Yep.
And taking it back and
Exactly.
teaching folks.
And
how to-
lots
perfect.
of, we try to do, obviously, like I said earlier, affect change. So part of like the company's mission statement is that we're always socially conscious.
Right.
So like we've worked with the Birthday Party
birthday
Project.
cake, right?
Exactly.
Birthday cake, the charitable, right?
So what they did was basically it's an organization in Texas that partnered with homeless shelters across the country. So every month they had a party for all the kids whose birthday was that month. And again, having been homeless, but I wasn't even a parent then, so I can't imagine what that is when you have kids. So this way, every child got their own cake that was representative of them.
Oh, amazing.
So whatever the, like, I don't know, I think October was like Scary Monsters, obviously, for Halloween. But every child got their own customized cake with their name on it, their age. So just something, obviously, again.
That's beautiful.
It's all about trying to
beautiful,
give
yeah.
back and just.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're trying to find a social cause for
Yes.
this podcast as well. I mean, we're trying to help people. That's the whole purpose is trying to help people, but at the same time, having some kind of tangible social impact is
Exactly.
the goal. So,
Exactly.
listen, Erika, we're inspired by you.
Yes.
you.
I cannot wait to come to Chic Sugars on Dean.
Yes.
On Dean Street.
And it has
my
a ring
God.
to it, right? Chic Sugars on Dean.
Sugars on Dean.
How'd you say that?
When is it going to be open?
We're hoping for Valentine's Day.
Oh,
If-
awesome.
If, everyone works with us, the building department, the inspectors.
Hint, hint,
Valentine's-
hint.
Okay,
Yeah, right?
So then, quickly, shout out where they can come get some delicious treats
So
from.
for right now, up and till Valentine's Day, we're at 1428 Bergen Boulevard in Fort Lee. We're open 11 to 6 pre-order. So literally, you can go on the website chicsugars.com, place your order, tell us when you're outside, we'll bring it curbside. This way, you
Right,
know,
Chic Sugars is
stop the spread.
CHIC.
I was just going to say that.
Sugars.
Yes.
Chic Sugars.
Plural.
Ooh,
Yeah.
it is,
.com.
it is delicious. So listen, Erika, it was a pleasure having you with us.
Such a pleasure meeting
I
you.
appreciate
Thank you
it.
for taking the time out to come and speak with us on Unexpected Success.
The comeback is
We are the Comeback Kids. And this is Miss Erika Oldham. Thank you.
Thank you.
of Chic Sugars. They'll get you some. And until then, Erika, keep winning.
I will.
You just listened to The Comeback Kids, presented by Unexpected Success with Joy and Dennis. Please like and subscribe.